Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. Today we want to present to you a biography of the life journey of one of the book authors in Malaysia. The person I mean is the late Ustaz Abdullah Al-Qari bin Salleh. He was an educator, preacher, author and publisher of various books. He owned a book publishing company named Pustaka Asa. Asa is an acronym of the Al-Islam Wing Force. Ustaz Abdullah Al-Qari began to dive into the world of writing when he was 15 years old.
Next, let's look into his background life. His name is Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh. He was named Abdullah Al-Qari by his nephew, which is Tuan Guru Haji Muhammad Jabai. Besides that, Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh is also known as a Tok Kenali due to his famous personality and contribution that makes everyone in the area already know who is Tok Kenali. Other than that, he also was born on the morning of Sunday, 23 Zul Al-Qaeda in 1356 Hijrah, also equivalent to 26 December 1937. His nephew, who has named this great person, also has left like 4 years after the death of Haji Salleh, and his grave are beside the Kenali Road. This road is at Lot 1203 Kenali, Jalan Putih, which is not far from the makam of Tok Kenali. Moreover, Abdullah Al-Qari is a creative teacher in 1994, a religious figure which is already get a recognition as Hijrah figures al-Rasul in 2004, and also a figure of Maulid Rasul in 2005, and including an Islamic poet in 2005 that has given birth to the many and various words with the Islamic elements. Furthermore, he is also a Sunnah Nusantara figure in 2005 who has produced books based on the Al-Qur'an and As-Sunnah, which is one of the mover of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the peripheral reformist of Islam, through the book where the Buku Guru Zaman has published. Like have been mentioned just now, Abdullah Al-Qari knew and popular with the name of Tok Kenali. He is known as the author of Tok Kenali because of his various interesting works and including their contribution that he already contributes. Next, let's move on with his educational background. Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh was raised in Islamic education, where his father Haji Salleh bin Putih is also known as Abdul Latif, is a Quran teacher at Pondok Kenali, which is an old student of Tok Kenali. Thus, his mother also is Haja Khadijah Binti Abdullah, a family of Tok Kenali, who also taught the Al-Quran to the child next to the kitchen of his house. The location of the house is on the edge of Pondok Lorong Tok Kenali grave, caused him a lot of influence for Pondok education besides with the Malay School Education Kubang Kerian, Kota Baru in 1946 until 1951. As you can see on the right, this place the education of Tok Kenali is started until he decided to continue their study. Moreover, he has entered Pondok Madrasah Al-Ahmadiyah Bunut Payung in 1952, where he learns with Tuan Guru Haji Abdullah Tahir bin Haji Ahmad, who will tafsir Al-Quran, while Ustad Haji Abdullah Rahman Al-Quduri bin Ibrahim will be doing for Al-Hadith. Then, in early 1953, he was appointed as a teacher at the age of 15 years old and contradicted with his desire to continue his study at Jami Merbau, Kota Baru. He only had time to study only a day. But one night, he has been dreaming of facing the face of Prophet ﷺ, who said, "Anta learn Islam." The other educational background is he managed to get the Malay School Certificate course, TOS, of education in 1956. Other than that, he also managed to get a certificate in Teaching College English Language Institute in 1959, get a SCG Pelajaran Malaysia SPM in 1962, STP full until 1974, a preliminary certificate at the National University of Jakarta in Language and Literature in 1974. Besides that, he was also eligible for the Nilam Puri Islamic Higher Education Center of Isulating Nature in 1974. And lastly, he was also managed to enter the University of Malaya from 1974 until 1977 with a Bachelor of Islamic Studies with honors and Students' Best Award. Okay, let's move on with his work that he has been produced before he left.
Next is Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh writing works and translations. Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh has studied Islam and written it into valuable books since he was 15 years old. Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh has produced over 300 own writing works and translations in various fields like Quran study, Sunnah and Hadith studies, Islam history, Malay language and literature, Tasawwuf, medical, education field and women's education. Among the titles of books and translations that has been written by Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh are Kursus Qari dan Qari'ah, Asas Sembahyang Nabi, Muhammad Rasulullah Makhluk Pilihan dan Rasul Contoh, Peribahasa Moden, Sejarah Penciptaan Alam Ghaib dan Alam Nyata, Bagaimana Mencapai Ketenangan Jiwa dan Kehusyukan Menurut Islam, Rahsia dan Khasiat Zam-Zam, Zaitun dan Tamar, Ilmu Penerang Hati dan Tenaga Pengingat, Hukum Berhijab dan Tarbiyahnya Menurut Al-Quran, and many more that Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh has produced, which is over 300 own writing works and translations.
We have contribution of Abdullah Al-Qari Haji Salleh. Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh's biggest contribution is through his fields of writing. Abdullah Al-Qari used his talent and knowledge to write many books as possible, where most of them is about preaching, teaching, research, and community service. Also, Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh active in Al-Sunnah education, where it consists of Akidah, Ibadah, Medical, Surah dalam Al-Quran, Tasawwuf, Dakwah and Motivation, and lastly, Women Educations. His work that has lasted about 60 years still be a reference up until now. Contributions of this book Reformist continue with he has opened up an opportunity for Muslim people in Malaysia to learn more about pendidikan As-Sunnah in detail and accurate. Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh also successfully building his own book collections that cover mostly about tafsir Al-Quran and other religious books. It encouraged people to produce more books like him that full with a lot of quality and factual content about Islam. Abdullah Al-Qari also has a biggest hope for Malaysia book industry to continue produce more quality books that bring the Islam influence to the public. Abdullah Al-Qari also established Masjid As-Sunnah, Sekolah Rendah Islam Sri Al-Qari and Pusat Kajian dan Sebaran Al-Quran dan As-Sunnah Nusantara. With all these education institutions, it proved that Abdullah Al-Qari has successfully spreading a good influence and be a good role model to the society.
Next is award. Allahyarham Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh has been awarded in 12 awards since 1990 until 2017. It includes first Tokoh Guru Kreatif Peruncaan Kelantan in 1990, Tokoh Buku Kelantan in 1994, Tokoh Hijrah Ar-Rasul Kelantan in 2004, Tokoh Guru Kelantan JPN in 2004, Tokoh Maulid Ar-Rasul Malaysia in 2005, Tokoh Sunnah IQ Nusantara in 2005, Tokoh Penulis Buku Islam Malaysia 2007, Tokoh Penulis Islam Terbaik Serambi Mekah in 2008, Tokoh Pengkajian Al-Quran dan Al-Hadis Siqah Nusantara in 2008, Tokoh Pembaharuan Islam Nun Nusantara in 2015, Tokoh Bini Ummah Serambi Mekah in 2016, and last, Anugerah Dr. Kehormatan dalam bidang pengajian Islam in 2017.
Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh life journey. His full name was Abdullah Al-Qari bin Haji Salleh bin Abdul Latif. His mother was Hajah Khadijah binti Abdullah. He was born on 26 December 1937 in Kampung Kenali, Kubang Kerian, Kota Baru, Kelantan. Abdullah was raised in a simple life and received religious education since childhood because his father was a teacher of the Quran. In 1946, he started school at relatively late age when he was 9 years old. He attended Sekolah Melayu Kubang Kerian and completed Year 6 in 1951. In 1952, he continued his study at Sekolah Melayu Kota Jelazin. Beginning in 1952, at the age of 15, following his deep interest in the world of reading and writing, he began to get involved in the world of writing. His first book was in 1953 entitled Qari and Qari'ah Course. To the end of his life, his works reached 320 books. Abdullah Al-Qari continued his study by taking a Sijil Kursus Persekolahan Melayu or trained under otherwise scheme in 1956. 3 years later, to qualify as an educator, he again sat for an exam to be a specialist teacher in language and literature at the Language Institute Kuala Lumpur in 1959, and later served as a primary and secondary school teacher. In 1963, he continued his study at the upper secondary level and sat for the Sijil Persekolahan Malaysia SPM examination. Next, in 1973, he took the Sijil Tinggi Persekolahan Malaysia STPM. The following year, when he was 14 years old, Abdullah Al-Qari continued his study to a higher level at the University of Malaya, majoring in Islamic study. He also graduated in 1977 and was awarded the best graduate. From 1992 to 2008, he received 9 awards based on his service and contributions in the field of writing, research education, and da'wah. After graduating, Abdullah Al-Qari Salleh served in the education sector and worked as a primary and secondary school teacher as well as a lecturer for 39 years before retiring in 1992. His last position was a teacher at the Sekolah Menengah Pangkalan Cepa, Kota Baru. After retiring, he continued a da'wah by teaching religious books and delivering religious lectures at surau and mosques near his house. On March 12, 2020, Abdullah Al-Qari returned to his creator, the Almighty Allah, while on his way to perform the dawn prayers after being involved in a road accident. His departure left a deep scar in the hearts of the preachers and readers of the Al-Quran because of his prominence in the field of writing and education. We lost a diamond. Al-Fatiha.